Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Saturday, June 11th, 2016, and this is Ernest, who has been trying very, very hard to get into our laps. And this is episode 259. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, enjoy the little doggy cameo. So, how have you all been? It's been 2 weeks. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy whirlwind for myself, and I'm sure Callie would say the same thing.
Yes.
And so we're going to start off the show with an announcement. We've realized in the last 2 weeks that we kind of like 2-week intervals in between shows. We feel, collectively, that we can make more progress on our projects within the 2 weeks. If you've been a long-time viewer, if you're a new viewer, sorry for all this ranting, but if you've been a long-time viewer, you've noticed that life has been very busy for the two of us this past 6 months to a year, with it not really seeming to slow down anytime soon. So we haven't been able to get as much progress done every week, and we do not want it to feel like we're wasting your time with us recording every week, showing you 5 rows of progress, and then chitter-chattering on. Because as I'm watching more and more podcasts, I realize that there's a lot of people out there that I'd love to catch up with. And so we don't want to take up that precious time that you have to watch podcasts with repeating the same things and not showing you good progress. So we're going to give it a trial run, I think, throughout the summer with recording every 2 weeks and see how that goes. And we may stick with it because, to be honest with you, once the school year starts for me again, I'm going to be even busier. So, but it's nice to be able to show you some quality projects and spend quality time together rather than just getting the quantity of numbers up. So, again, that quality over quantity I think is really important. So hopefully you guys will understand. We love doing this. We're not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But we want to make sure that we're not just repeating ourselves and saying the same thing over and over again, which is kind of what it feels like for us because it takes us so long to get some projects done that we just want to make it a better show for you guys. And we think we could do that by checking in with you every other week rather than every week, especially with Liederman Fiber Arts vending over the summer and whatnot. We're going to be gone, so I think actually this should work into the schedule. Now, there may be a week that we have to take 3 weeks and then come back, and then just bear with us. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube that you subscribe to us, or iTunes that you subscribe to us there, or make sure you're part of our Ravelry group where we post new episodes as well. And you can always check our website, which is dramaticknits.com. So that being said, we just wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning of the show so that you know.
Yeah. And so Steve's got dying and all of the shows coming up, and I have fair coming up, and who knows where life will lead me after fair. So, there's just a lot of stuff going on between both of us, and echo everything Steve said. So it's a mutual decision among us, and I feel like we should put it out there. There is nothing wrong. Like, we're not fighting or anything like that. We're still best friends. I mean, I said that out loud.
BFFs.
We're BFFs.
So, yeah, it's just
we need to get more time to do some stuff.
Right.
So
the stress on us to try to feel like we have something of substance to show you guys can eat at us a little bit, and we don't want that stress to be there. This is a stress-free zone. So, all right. So that being said, let's go into a week in review, and then don't let me forget that we have some administration to take care of with a new prize drawing before we go into showing off what we've been working on the past 2 weeks.
Yes.
So the past 2 weeks for myself have been a whirlwind. I've been to Minnesota and back, and it was a great time. If you were at the Zombie Apocalypse and you got some quality time with myself, it was kind of back and forth busy, and did spend some quality time with my leading man in Minnesota as well. It was kind of nice to have some retreat time and then spend some quality time with him. Thank you for coming and saying hi or sitting with me or stopping me to have a conversation. I really appreciate that. I always enjoy the Zombie Apocalypse retreat. It is one of my favorite retreats. I've only been to a handful, but I do enjoy the low-keyness of it, and you can kind of make it into what you want it to be. So,
like if you want to tour all the Little House on Prairie homes,
like
I
Callie did last
year.
Yep. So it was a good time, and I got to catch up with some friends that I hadn't been able to catch up with in a long time, and we of course vended, which is always just a wonderful byproduct of the retreat. I like going to the retreat regardless of selling my yarn. It's just a nice added bonus. But it was nice to see some new vendors there, and I did actually take a class. I'm trying to take more classes this year and take advantage of the wealth of knowledge that is out there in the knitting community. And so I took a class with Josh Ricks, who is sort of a knitter, and he's the designer behind Geoknitrix Designs. And it was on shawl, or alternate shawl shaping. Is basically on the triangular shawl and how to alternate that shape. So I enjoyed that. I kind of sat back and just processed the information. I didn't actually take a whole lot of notes, but he passed around a lot of his designs and talked about his designing process a little bit and the way his mind works, which was really interesting. And I also taught 2 classes on boomerangs. I really enjoyed my classes. They were both very different. My more well-attended class, they were very studious, and when I was talking, they were quiet and giving me eye contact, and it felt kind of weird because I teach high school English, and kids just don't do that, so I felt like I was doing something wrong. And then in the morning, I had a few people drop in and take my class that weren't scheduled, and that was fine, and they were very conversational. Which was great, and we ended up shifted into talking about the business and my job in teaching, and it became more of a conversation with a group of friends. So that was really nice as well. One of the benefits of teaching is I got to attend the teacher dinner at one of the fine dining establishments in Rochester, Minnesota. That was a good time to spend time with a larger group of people, but still not the 200 attendees. When they have their nightly meetings and prize drawings. So all around, I could say I had a really great time. The drive was pretty uneventful. Andy made me drive with the trailer. It's fine. I got through it.
Good. You need practice.
I was fine. I just wasn't expecting it. And whatever. So I'm sure I'll be driving.
Andy.
I'm sure I'll be driving some to Nashville as well, which is fine. I did it by myself last year. Just if I jackknife the trailer, I will stop, and we will work it out together this year instead of me causing a lot of money dollar damage to my truck like I did last year. Anyway.
Not still bitter about it.
No. I think that's pretty much it. I've been working around the house and dyeing yarn all this week, and we went to open knitting this afternoon, which was a good time to check in with the ladies and to get some progress on some knitting, and that's about it for me. So,
so my last 2 weeks have been super, super crazy. Still working without an official coworker, and learning to delegate. We are really good with a lot of the things that we're doing behind the scenes, so I'm really pleased with where we're at. So I think overall we are going to do well, and I'm going to remain positive about this, and we are going to have the best fair that I can possibly present this year. And by golly, the carnival rides and everything will still be there, and that part I don't control. And quite frankly, that's the part that most people go to. So, but I mean, I'm going to make sure that our kids are taken care of, our volunteers are taken care of, and it takes a whole village. So it's not just me, but it sure feels at this moment like I'm coordinating the most efforts for it. And then when it comes to the fair, I'm going to be handing that over to the people that are, doing the efforts. But coordinating, passing, and then when it comes for the big day, everybody has their assignments. So I feel pretty comfortable in that. The interns that I have doing that, they're still kids to me because they're still recent, I'm still older than them. But, you know, they're doing really well. I'm really proud of them. And I made it a point when we had our staff meeting last Monday to tell them that. Because I think a lot of times, at least in our organization, we don't necessarily recognize our interns very well. And I think that that's a poor job on our part. Because they do a lot of the stuff that we don't necessarily want to do or have the time to do it. And I think they really make a well-oiled machine for us. So this weekend, though, or this week has been crazy. I had a couple of doctor's appointments. Everything went well. I met with my dietitian for my diabetes, and I've lost 16 pounds since March. So that was really nice and rewarding to hear that. And so just got to keep working and moving forward. So we've got plans. This week was crazy because last night and this morning I chaperoned a teen lock-in. So it was activities all the time. And so it was me and our 3 interns and 2 additional chaperones that are around the same age as the kids, a little bit older. But of all of the chaperones, I was the full-time employee. So I was the only one that did not fall asleep at any point during the time. So I was really proud of myself for that. And we had an incident, and I handled it like a responsible adult and employee. My first reaction was, wow, that is really amazing that you did that. I'm not going to repeat the accident on the air because I've already told it at our net day. And I think based on that reaction, maybe it's not best for the podcast. But dealt with that. And I'm just really, outside of the 45-minute nap that I took before I got here, I've been up for well over 36 hours. So I'm going strong. And for those of you that think that I'm pulling this off with caffeine, lies. I have only had about 6 ounces of caffeine at 4 p.m. yesterday, and this is just the sparkleness that is my personality and attitude that I get to share with everyone. And I got my hair cut right after I took some kids that their parents forgot that they needed to pick them up. How do you forget your kids like that? I just want to know. They're repeat offenders. It would be different if it was like a one-time thing. No, this family all the time. I'm not for sure if they're trying to pass them off to me. Cool if you think I'm responsible, but no. No. They are gonna starve because, not because I will let them starve, but I don't have money to take care of 3 teenagers. No. And myself.
And teenagers eat you out of house and home.
Oh my gosh. So, anywho. So it went well. Got my hair cut. And then, yeah, just did a lot of errands. And then I had a pizza Lunchable for lunch. Because as an adult, that's acceptable. So, anywho. It's been good 2 weeks. A little stressful. But overall, I'm just really happy this lock-in is done. And my summer can start moving at a, not scared pace right now. Oh, and in case if you wanted to know the number-wise, 53 teens from 13 to 18. I know. And if you saw my picture on Instagram this morning, I looked at it and I was like, wow, I don't know what I was thinking that was maybe an appropriate photo to put on Instagram. I look like crap. But the life and the times. So, anywho, it's enough rambling. Rambly lamb.
Well, let's take care of some administration. So we needed to pull for a new winner for the Simply You Fiberworks flower drawstring bag. The winner has not contacted us regarding this project, so we drew for a new winner. And we went back into the thread that was locked, and we drew a random number generator, and the winner was number 48, who is Ange in the East. So congratulations, Angela from East Hampton, New York. And we had asked what was your favorite flower and to post pictures, and she posted one of Callie's favorite, which are
hyacinths.
So you're going to contact Callie, and she's going to ship out your prize to you. So Angela, please email Callisters on Ravelry. CALSTERS, and send her your first and last name and mailing address, and she'll get that out to you.
Yes.
All right, so what's taking a bow this week? What did I finish? Nothing. I know I said I got more progress done. I did, and I'll show you that. I have progress keepers to show this said progress, but I have not finished anything. So, did you finish anything?
I did. This is the glory of doing 2 weeks out, because I mean, I would have gotten them done, and I did have them done, but let's be real honest, I probably would have waited. So I finished my Hawaii socks.
Finally.
Yeah. So this is the first one I did. I know that because this blip was the first one I did on the sock. So yay. And then this was my second one. No blip on the sock. But I kind of, like, messed up the heel. I'm going to be real honest with you. It works for the benefit, but, yeah. Yeah.
No one's going to know it looks good.
Yeah. It's deeper, and I'm okay with that. So, yeah, I mean, they work for me, and that's really all that matters, because they're mine.
Got some socks.
I know, and this is my first set of official sock blockers. And this is the first pair that I've actually blocked my socks. So, first and first. So, the yarn was Friday Studios in the Hawaii color, and I feel like I always add an extra syllable to Hawaii. I don't care. And I knit these on size 0 needles, size 0 US, and that is a 2.0,
I think.
2.5?
No, because a 1's a 2.25.
So 2.0 millimeter. So
I'm lucky I haven't had to go down to a size 0.
So I really liked these. I've reknit both pairs several times due to mistakes and...
But you'll get it down.
Yeah.
You know, this is only, your second sock when you started taking sock knitting seriously?
Yeah, and this is my second pair of self-striping. I've done other patterned socks before, but they always turn out gigundo, and these fit more snug. And the only thing I might do differently is I might make the foot actually just a wee bit longer by a couple of rows.
That's what I'm going to do with the second one of these. But sweetness. Kelly's trying to figure out where to put all of her stuff. We don't have a whole lot of room. She doesn't have a whole lot of room on her side over here, but it is what it is. We'll work. Yeah. We work around things. All right, so what's performing this week? What are we working on? Let me show you all the progress I made. Now, granted, I went to a knitting retreat, but actually, I knit on things you'll see at the end that I cast on at the retreat more than I knit on anything else. I did knit on my projects that have already been on the needles on the road to and from the retreat. Anyway, the first thing for me is Quaker Lines by Susan Ashcroft. I'm using Classic Elite Yarns Liberty Wool Light in color number 6699, which is Cloudy Dawn, and I'm using a size 6 US 4 millimeters. This is a knit along going on at my local yarn store. Again, I think everyone's done who started it.
Yeah, I haven't started it, and I'm not done.
So, which one's the bottom?
For some reason in my head, I thought you were done with this.
Nope. I'm not too far off.
Yeah.
But here it is. And you can see, look at that dicky-doo. I got all this done. And this gets bigger on the top wedge. So as I said, at a certain point, you keep increasing on the top edge. And then, down here at the bottom, you stop increasing. And it starts pulling that bottom wedge back up to the center decrease here. So, again, it will block to a nice, decent size when it's done. I'm enjoying it. It's actually, once you get the pattern down, it's really rhythmical and easy to memorize. And I might do more of them. But it looks really good with the longer color repeat yarns, like Noro or Classic Elite or Handspun would be really good. All right, next up is Ayano by Mercedes Tarosovich. I'm using Two Guys Yarn Company, the Bachelor Collection Fingering in Dutch Island, and another Crafty Girl Ooh Shiny sock in the Rock Eater colorway on size 5 US, 3.75 millimeters. And it's somewhere on my little cart over here. Gotta find it. Alright, and this is my Fat Squirrel bag. This is the Super Summer Knit Together 2015 bag, and I may have pre-ordered the 2016 one because it's so adorable.
Which size did you get?
This size. Because one, she does a quality bag, but hers are a little pricier than some because she uses really nice fabrics and things like that. So I couldn't really justify buying a bigger one. I can fit everything I need in this. Did you get an Aran like as big as your head?
I did, and I'm not sorry about it.
I just can't see carrying that. I'm like, what are you gonna put in there?
Well, I thought about it because I have one this size, and that's what my Hitafude is in.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, it's already fitting a nice sweater size project. But I thought, well, this would be nice for blankets that I do.
Yeah, that's true. So as you saw 2 weeks ago, I'm on the knitted on as you go attached border or edging, and I had only had like 3 repeats done. I was right there. Look at all that. Now it is kind of rolling up. It does need to be blocked. Both these yarns are a merino silk blend, but look at all of that edging. I'm going on it. So I went from all the way over there to all the way over here, and I've got like 2/5 left to go. So hopefully that'll be done. That'll definitely be done by the time we record again in 2 weeks. And then I can ship that off. This was originally done as a knit-along for the Super Summer Knit Together. I did not get it done in time, but I did. This will have 3 completed objects that I did for knit-alongs for the SSK retreat. And so I'm going to actually, they do a charity extra drawing. I'm going to donate all 3 of those projects for the charity door prize ticket drawing things. I gotta get it done. And I gotta send in my actual door prizes from Medium and Fiber Arts. Eventually. Alright, next up is my brownie sock recipe by Gina Canoes. I'm using Luna Bud Knits Buddy sock in the Deep Waters colorway and Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper Intermission in the Perfection colorway. And I'm using a size 1 US, 2.25 millimeters. And I was in the middle of the cuff last time we talked. Look at all that progress.
Nice.
I finished the leg, and I got the garter stitch heel on the second sock this morning. And now I'm going to town. I'm in my happy place. I'm doing stockinette down the foot. I am going to add a few more rows on the foot than I did on the first one, just because it felt a little too snug for me. Now they may stretch out with washing and whatnot, but I'd rather have a little bit more room than being super snug. But am I going to rip out the other one and add a few rows? No. Come on now. I'd rather move on to my next pair of socks. So I'm excited to have get these going, and hopefully these will be done too. See, again, 2 weeks makes a big difference in what we can show you. So we're excited about it. Hopefully you guys are excited to see quality. Quality is key this week.
And you can always find us on our social media outlets too. So if you really need a fix of us... I mean, you can find us in multiple ways.
Oh, how many more? Oh, next up is... I got too much.
How many more projects?
Next up is my Technicolor scarf by Meg Keeley, and this is what I was working on at knitting today. This is a brioche scarf. As I mentioned last time, I had just taken a class on brioche knitting at my local yarn store. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Box Office, our worsted weight, in long stocking and glow stick. And I was only 2 rows in last time, and here's where I'm at now. So you can see the brioche-ness. I really like this side, but then you've got the long stocking side over here. So I'm going. You're supposed to go to about 6 inches, but I don't want to have much yarn left over, and I don't think it's going to be a tremendously long scarf because, as you can see, it's kind of ribbing brioches, but you don't want to like block it like that. That loses its cushiness. So it's more of those kind of scarves you wrap over and cross and just fit it under your jacket. It's not like... But I'm going to be using it as a shop sample. So it really doesn't matter because I don't know if this is my color.
You didn't try it on my skin tone.
Well, it can be a shop sample and then Kaylee can have it. Last but not least, I wanted to show you, I did teach 2 boomerang classes, and I balled up one colorway because I was like, I need a sample out of this colorway. And Andy's like, but it's not the show colorway for Zombie Apocalypse. I said, oh, you're right. I really should knit on that while I'm at the retreat, right? Knit on the show color. But I had already balled up the other one, so I was like, why not cast on 2 boomerangs, 1 in each class? So the original colorway that I cast on for was out of our Spotlight base, and this is Steady Beat. This was our February colorway of the month. And I didn't get much work done on this because I focused on the other one, which I didn't tell you last week what our ZK colorway was. So I just got the wee starts of a boomerang going on that. And then I mostly worked on at the retreat our ZK colorway. This is on our Show Stealer base, which is our MCN base. And it is in the colorway Yarnakuken. Now, if you have been to Zombie Apocalypse or are of Dutch descent, you've probably heard of Yarnakuken. It is a Dutch pancake, and they have, or not Yarnakuken, Pannenkoeken. Sorry. Pannenkoeken is actually a restaurant in downtown Rochester, and I think I've heard they have other other locations. But they serve the specialty of Dutch Pannenkoeken, which is a breakfast, usually breakfast, but they have savory pancakes. So we've been there every year, and in fact, ZK is known for giving you kind of coupons to go use over there. So Andy had come up with the name Yarnakuken, and kind of was like, fell in love with it. It was like, write it down. So we knew what the colorway name was, and then we had some instructions on what they were looking for in our yarn color, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But here is the progress that I've got. I got decent progress on it. Well,
they are addicting, though.
The boomerangs, yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get it down.
Yeah.
And I really talked about it in my class. It's great to one, variegated yarns. This isn't highly variegated, but I love the depth of green in it. But it's great. You can pick up a color that even doesn't speak to you, or a yarn that's been in your stash forever, and you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Knit one of these up, and just keep it in a gift pile. These are great to just gift to people.
I have my whole pile, or I have one in my pile, because really, as soon as I finish one, I almost have to give it away, because of some life event or something happening to friends or family of mine. So.
I do have to point out a little gift I got from Cheryl at the ZK retreat. She gave me a little luggage tag. She was passing this out. It says Knitter. And you can put your information on the back. So, thank you, Cheryl. Thanks so much.
Cool.
And I think that's it. But I wanted to show you these boomerangs. I don't know if I'm going to be really working on these until we have our next show in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to show you those. So, that's that.
I'm actively working on one thing right now, and they are the blueberry waffle socks, and I forgot to write down who the pattern designer is, because I'm a terrible podcaster. That's nothing new there. But I am using 2 different yarns. I'm using Malabrigo sock in the chocolate colorway, and then Madeline Tosh sock in the Stephen Loves Tosh colorway. And I have to say, I was pretty certain these were going to go well together, and now I'm just really in love. So, really love it.
And you were going to do originally the Hermione's Everyday, yeah?
Yeah, I was. I looked at the blueberry waffles pattern, and I was like, oh, I can know where I'm at every time in that pattern. And the Hermione's Everyday sock pattern, I probably could too, but with as busy as I'm going to be in the next few weeks, I was like, I want something that I know immediately where I'm at in the pattern. I cast on 4 extra stitches because this was, I just didn't want to chance it, because this is a little bit of a thicker fingering weight than what I had been working on with my self-striping. And so I was like, maybe I'll just go up a little bit. And I think it's probably going to be too big for me, but I think I might make these for my mom for her birthday, because I think they'll be a little bit, she doesn't have like massive legs or anything. I don't want to portray that, but I think it might hug her leg a little bit better than it would mine. But we'll see, because if they fit me, then I'm going to keep them. But I think it's a perfect fall sock. It reminds me of like a coffee drink or caramel swirl brownies, which equally sound delicious with coffee. So I really like these, and I'm really, really happy I put these two colors together. So yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you. So that's all I'm working on, actively.
All right, so what's in rehearsal? I really should not be casting on anything, but I'm hoping to get some progress and to finish some things. And I'm going to be casting on for our Leading Men Fiber Arts knit-along that we're currently doing right now for the Newbie Vest, and that's by Stephanie Loppin. And I'm going to talk more about the knit-along in the center stage section, but I did want to show you the yarn. It calls for Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback, which is our sport weight base, and I actually had a skein of it in my actual stash. Who would have thunk? This is in the Anne with an E colorway, which is a lovely reddish orange, and I'm going to be casting on the vest. The vest has two options for a lace panel or a cable panel. I haven't decided. I was thinking lace maybe, because I'm just not in the cabling mood. Plus, I think lace is a little bit more feminine, can be, and this can be feminine, but they can be gendered. It has to be gender specific. Not like I'm knitting it for a specific baby in my life. I don't have one, or have babies in my life right now. I don't have a baby either. So that's all that I have in rehearsal.
Really, whatever crosses my fancy, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm kind of tired of like thinking I'm gonna do something and then I change my mind, and then that's just disappointing. So I'm just gonna do what floats my boat. So yeah.
Okay. Moving on to behind the scenes, my spinning. I am still working on the Spun Right Round Rambouillet in the Color Play number 254, and I'm spinning this I'm straight from the braid, and I'm going to Navajo or chain ply it, and this is all that I have left. So you can see the colors there. I just brought you the fiber down so that you can see the colors.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out. It's a very spongy fiber, so with a lot of sproing to it. Moving on to In the Scene Shop, cross-stitching and other crafts. I do want to show you my progress on my cross-stitching. I'm working on a Bent Creek design in the begin row is what it's called, and I kind of a hot mess right now. Still have a thread going, but I did actually get a lot of work done. So I didn't want to take it out of the hoop, seeing as I just repositioned it last night, and I don't enjoy repositioning on the hoop, but I usually can make it work for a couple of days. So I think I've done, I don't even remember. I think I finished this. I've got the B and the C and the A. The alphabet's completely done, obviously, with A, because it goes through A through Z, and it highlights the word begin in black. And then it says a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So I'm on journey. You can see there's a little bird with two-color bush it's sitting on, and I'm doing another tree, and it's on 14 count Ada. So this is my needle minder. I'm not one of those people who needs a different needle minder for every project, because I'm a single project type of guy, and I'm going to stay that way. Knitting's too crazy right now for me to do multiple projects. So that's cross-stitching. And then my diamond painting that I talked about last episode, which you can find on Amazon. They have certain, they only have a certain amount of stock. I mean, they have like 14 pages of them, but I'm very particular in what I'm willing to do, put my time and efforts in. I'm not the kitschy type. But I did find a lot more projects. Again, not a whole lot that spoke to me, maybe one or two. You may have heard of this website, I think it's Alibaba or something, which is, again, an international company, kind of like Amazon, I think. So you can find them basically out of China is where they ship out of and where they're produced. So this, I showed you the picture last time. I don't have the picture to show you again, but I can show you what I've gotten done in 2 weeks, which doesn't look like a lot, but it's got some progress. So there's that. The ooh shiny. I don't know what it looks like, but I think it looks pretty. So I think I actually enjoy doing this more than cross-stitching because it really doesn't take any thinking. You're just like paint by numbers, you know what I'm saying? And plus my hand actually gets tired holding the hoop in this. You know, I'm just like, maybe I got weak wrists. I won't say anything about that, but you know, I'm just like, my hand cramps up holding the hoop. And I know I can get a stand, but I'm like, do I want to invest the money? And then I do a lot of finishing of threads, so how do you turn it over in the stand quickly without taking it out? And blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of reasons why. But my 6-inch one, you have to move around too much, but my 6-inch one I can actually hold from the top and bottom and work out of pretty nicely, but then you have to move the hoop around a lot more. So it's a give or take. So that's it in the scene shop for me. Do you have anything?
I don't. I should be pulling out. Well, I don't have to work tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Sunday. Sorry. Day ahead. That's what a lock-in will do to you. So Sunday, I obviously don't have to work. I shouldn't say obviously. There's a few Sundays I do work. So Monday, I don't have to work. And I'm really tempted to take my Jaws into Jaws. If you don't know, is the vintage sewing machine that I bought that landed on me.
Attempted to take her finger.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask my dad if he can help hold it because I can't hold that much weight. Because I might have slightly fell last night in Steak and Shake. Because they don't necessarily keep their floors super cleanly, and some teens don't have the best coordination skills. I'm gonna leave it at that. But basically, my hand hurts, and so like even knitting kind of hurts right now. I'm gonna walk it off, and it'll be fine. But I can't. I'm not gonna chance holding a machine and then dropping it because I feel like I've had my experience with that. So, I'm going to see if my dad can hold it and I can undo the screws and stuff and then take it into the machine shop to see if they can see how much and what all needs to be done, and hopefully it's not a lot on both ends. So, yeah. And if not, then that's another project for another day. But I do plan to do some jelly roll race quilts here in the next week or two.
I always enjoy the look of jelly roll things. I see Paula of Knitting Pipeline when she does her video supplements of her podcast. She talks a lot about her quilting. And when Leslie of the Knit Girls talks about jelly rolls and things, I just like how they're all different fabrics, but the colors coordinate.
You know, I really like that, and for the same reasons. But I also, my grandma is a huge quilter, not to the same standards as what a lot of people are doing now, but she is a stickler for washing fabric first. And obviously with pre-cuts, meaning like jelly rolls, fat quarters, things of that nature, you really don't want to wash because they're going to basically disintegrate because they aren't totally finished. Mm-hmm. But I have a few kits that are whole fabrics and they tell you not to pre-wash. And so like I have this deep anxiety of like, should I follow grandma's rules or should I be a rebel and not follow grandma's rules? So that's where I stand on that.
Well, let's keep going in the spotlight this week. What are we watching and reading? I did start a new audiobook. My mom actually finished a book and gave it to me to put in my school library. So I was like, I'm going to download this book on Audible. And then I can converse with my mom about a book. Which, like, never happens anymore. She's a big fan of David Baldacci. Is that how you say his name? It's not Balducci, I don't think. Anyway, it's called Memory Man, and I'll let you know I'm only about maybe an hour into it. movie-wise, what am I watching? Not a whole lot. Still watching a lot of podcasts. But my sister's birthday was this week. She turned 21. And we took her out to dinner where she didn't even order a drink. But I made her finish my margarita because I got a margarita at the Mexican place thinking that we were all going to have a drink. And then nobody got a drink. And I didn't really want the drink. But she finished it. She didn't have many complaints there. And then she really wanted to go see The Conjuring 2. So we were going to go out of town to do that, to a bigger movie theater, but she was willing to stay here in our small little town theater. And we went and saw The Conjuring 2. Thought it was fine. Really didn't scare me all that much, and usually I can jump a couple of times. I think I jumped maybe twice. Thought the first one was better, but I didn't think it was horrible. I mean, it's still one of the better made. It's definitely not B-rate movie. But that's all that I've been watching and reading.
I really haven't been doing a whole lot of watching and reading. But I will say I've been DVRing a whole lot of Murder, She Wrote mysteries. And I'm not mad. And I'm not, like, you can judge me. If you remember, before everyone started watching Murder, She Wrote, I was watching it before. I was on reruns. And I'm really okay with it. Not mad. Y'all can join the bandwagon. Know who El Capitana was. Or La Capitana. So, yeah. Really, that's all I've been doing. So, I've been keeping up with the savvy Jessica Fletcher. So, hate on that.
So, stash enhancement. I went to a knitting retreat. I was actually pretty
did
good. I was
You
pretty
did
good. I'm on par for last year. I came home with one new skein other than goodie bag yarn and goodies and things and door prizes. And I did the same this year. And actually, I was going to end the market without purchasing anything, but then, you know, you break down in the last 5 minutes. It's just the way it works. Let's talk about the goodie bags. So this was the goodie bag for the Zombie Apocalypse this year, and it was provided and made by the Silvershed USA, which you know we love. This is in her dumpling project bags, so it's got this rounded top that you can actually fold down, and these were all the featured yarns in with the goodie bag, which I'm going to show you here in a second. They knit up a swatch, and then Silvershed USA has a fabric printer, and this is custom printed fabric, and it's even got the matches the same color strap. And there was a lot of really cool things in there. There was a insulated mug with a straw, not like a mug, but
like a Tervis.
Kind of like a Tervis, yeah, with a straw. And they had a little embroidered patch with the logo put inside the mug. And then there was a bunch of coupon codes, and there were some wool wash samples, and there were some embroidery scissors, which I gave Callie, and some chocolates, and a bunch of coupon codes. There was this little zippered pouch for notions pouches, and so that was all fine and dandy and great. And here's the inside fabric. Okay, and this will come back up in a little bit. And we also got a pack of mini skeins, and bless Amy and Megan's heart because they were crazy, and they called in reinforcements of local knitters to split up these mini skeins. They had to do 200 packs of 7 mini skeins each. You can do the math. That is
a lot.
1,400-ish. And so they had it packaged a little bit nicer, but these are the mini skeins, and these are all different dyers. Guess who the green is? That is some Leading Men Fiber Arts Yarnakuken. And what came in it was really cool. So they had the logo for this year, the ZK Minis, and they had all the brands and their colorway names. So you had Cyborg's Craft Room, Marigold Jen, Another Crafty Girl, Leading Men Fiber Arts, Sun Valley Fibers, One Twisted Tree, and Sophie's Toes. And so I thought this was a really cool idea. I was really hoping they would design something to go with it, because while minis are all the craze, I don't have a whole lot of things queued up for minis. So Both Amy and Megan designed projects out of these yarns, and Amy designed the Better Together cowl, which looks like this. There we go. And Megan designed the Joy Alloy, which is a textured asymmetrical triangular shawl, which looks like that. And I'm actually going to use my knittings to knit this up, which I think will be a lot of fun. So, that's what came in the goodie bag this year. Fun goodie bag, enjoyed it. It's always nice when they don't do the same things, you know, and you get something different. I did win a door prize, which is really great. And I won some Wandering Wool, which is going to be at this Super Summer Knit Together this summer. North Country Sock, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards in the Great Barrier Reef colorway, which is a gradient. So I queued up some project with this. I think it's a, I can't remember. Paula always knits her patterns. She's out of Great Britain. You're screaming it at me. She has the Pebble Beach shawlette.
Oh, yeah.
This is not the Pebble Beach shawlette. It was another one of her patterns. Anyway, I queued that up for this. And then I did have one acquisition at the market from One Twisted Tree because I do not have any of her products. And we did vend together at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, but I was good at that retreat for the most part. And so this is One Twisted Tree. She has the cutest little tags. And this is her prime base, which is, again, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. And I picked this. She gave me 3 options because of the colorway name. It's called Acid Peacock.
Ooh.
So
it is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a bright turquoise.
Just dropped my project bag and my needle.
You're a hot mess. And I think I did put the Pebble Beach shawlette actually with this. So those are my acquisitions that I got this year. You good? You need help?
I'm good.
Okay. Sorry. So I think that was pretty good for going to a retreat. Let's see if I can be that good at SSK.
I have no stash enhancement.
Good again.
I am. You know, like, I don't know where I heard it on, I think it was the Grocery Girls, and Tracy was talking about how, you know, she's really blessed to be able to go into her yarn cabinet or closet or whatever, organizing unit that she has and, you know, pick out something that you fell in love with and knit it. Like, you don't necessarily have to have stash to enjoy your knitting or keep buying things because you put things in your stash that you already love. And I really kind of thought about it. I was like, there's a lot of beautiful yarns that I have in my stash that I just haven't done anything with. You know, I have my, I have a lot of different self-striping sock yarns that I haven't knit up. Like, you gave me it's time to make the donuts for Christmas one year, and I still haven't made it yet, but Dunkin' Donuts is truly one of the things that make me the happiest in the whole wide world. I might have gotten a whole box of Munchkins, 25 count. This may or may not have been after my dietitian meeting, and I may or may not have been like, treat yourself, Holmes. I didn't eat the whole box. I would like to say that, so.
I wouldn't.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but you totally should. But at Dunkin', now for the Munchkin, which, if you're not familiar, they're the donut holes, they actually have jelly-filled ones now. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this, but I always assumed that you had to have an assortment for your Munchkins. No. You can actually say, I want half chocolate and half jelly-filled. Mm-hmm. I don't know why this is just brand new news to me, but, like, my whole world changed in that brief encounter with the gentleman behind the window. I was like, I don't know if he's single or not, but I feel like he just gave me the best news all day. So, But, you know, like, I have great skeins of yarn, stuff that's been gifted to me, stuff I've bought. So I think I'm kind of looking at yarn that way. You know, like, is it, do I want...
Appreciating what you have.
Yeah. But it also doesn't mean that I don't want to shop either. You know what I mean?
It just means when you make that purchase, it's really got to be something special. And that's kind of, again, that's where I'm at. Or, you know, we've talked about the allure of the kit lately. That, you know, it's something special and it's got a project already tied to it.
Which I love. Lisa of Fiber Nymph, she's doing the kit along. And starting in August, I believe. I think that's what she said in her most recent podcast.
I'm a little couple behind on her.
But yeah, so she's going to do a kit along. So if you have a yarn and a pattern that came together, then that kind of basically defines that.
Speaking of knit-alongs, let's move into a round of applause. We have our featured designer knit-along going on right now.
Yes. Sorry. I wanted to make sure that I got my needle before I totally lost it. So our featured designer knit-along started on April 1, and will go through June 30th. Your project must have been started on or after April 1. You can use any of the designers' patterns that are in the featured designer locked thread in our group. It can be a free pattern, it can be something that's in your library, it could be brand new, it could be a gift, whatever. You can use any base of yarn. Each project counts as an entry into the finished object thread. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, that enters you into 2 entries, one for the project and one for using the Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn. Or fleece, if you have that, and spin it. You know, that totally counts. And yes, if you have any questions, let me know. Ear burn me on Rav or send me a private message. I'd be more than happy to address anything. And I've done my 357 mitts by Josh Ricks, Sword of a Knitter. So I actually have one of our knit-alongs done. So, and I really appreciate your feedback. I haven't mentioned this, but I really appreciate everyone's feedback on the basically the cowl of not finishing cowls.
The redemption cowl.
Yes. So I've heard a lot of feedback, and I'm still considering a lot of what you guys have said. And Steve and I haven't talked about it officially, but we will be soon. And
she's the decision maker on the knit-alongs this year and last year. She's the knit-along queen for the Dramatic Knits podcast.
It's true.
She holds that scepter proudly. Gotta get you a crown.
Actually, we order crowns for 4-H, and they have so bad. And they have a discount crown section of their website, so it's like not all the rhinestones, maybe missing like a headband piece or whatever. And I was joking with my coworker that left. I was like, "Oh, we have a royalty committee, and we should totally play a joke and say, oh, this was all they had,' and you know, and then get the real stuff." But yeah, I know a website that we can use. So, but yeah, sorry that's rambly, but not sorry.
So now Redemption Cowl will be coming out?
Yes, and that will be in July, at least starting. I'm not for sure when I want to end it. So again, still thinking about it. We'll have everything ready probably by next podcast, because that will be the end of June.
All right. The month of May is finished. Did you know? So our May race to the finished object contest has come to a close. We locked the thread and we pulled for winners before we pressed the record button this afternoon. And so we have a project bag prize, which was donated by Anne of the Silver Shed USA.
Yes. And it is a small project bag, and it features...
I think it's medium. Is it medium? Yeah, because
yes.
That's small.
Yeah, medium. Sorry. And it has Batgirl, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman. So it's very cute, and it's a really nice bag. Anne's bags are fabulous, as always. So the winner of that is...
number 267, and that their bag name is Pocketses. And that is Sharon from Washington, and she did some Felici socks. So congratulations, Sharon.
So Sharon, go ahead and get in contact with me with your full name and mailing address, and I will pop that into the mail as soon as I get that info.
And again, she is Calisters.
Yes.
Calsters. All right, our next prize is a pattern from our featured designer, who is Nicole Drouillard, and the random number generator picked number 112, who is Bina Knits, and that is Sabrina from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she did a Stormtrooper sweater for her coworker's baby, and it was really adorable.
It's super cute.
So congratulations, Sabrina. If you would email me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, and let me know what pattern of Nicole's that you would like. We have a link to her pattern page on our website, which is dramaticknits.com. That'll link you over to Ravelry, and you can pick any one of her giftable patterns on Ravelry. Let me know what that is. I'll let Nicole know, and she'll gift it to you. That being said, June is already in the works, and so we have 2 wonderful prizes for the month of June. The first is, you're getting my ZK goodie bag. Now, it's not going to have everything in it, but you're going to get the project bag, the dumpling project bag from the Silverside USA. As much as I love this, and as much as I will, am out and proud, it's not really my fabric choice, so, and it's cool that it's got my yarn and everything in it, but I want to give it to somebody who's going to use it. So, and inside is going to be the mesh notions pouch, as well as some coupon codes and stitch markers and things like that. So this will be going to one lucky winner if you post projects in the June Race to the Finished Object contest. So again, anything you finish in the month of June, it doesn't matter when you started, what yarn, anything you finish in the month of June, post a picture in the June Race to the Finished Object contest, and that'll get you an entry to win this bag. The second prize is going to be a pattern again from our featured designer, who is Nicole Drouillard. Nicole's last month is the month of June, so if you are a designer, whether you've been featured with us before or not, and you would like to become our featured designer for either 1 all the way up to 6 months, we would love to feature you on the podcast every week and give you a shout out and talk about your wonderful pattern. So if you're interested, please contact me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, or Calisters on Ravelry. We both can work with you. And if we get somebody signed up, we'll talk to the other one, and we can even line up people for future months as well. All it requires of you as a designer is to have giftable patterns and to donate 1 pattern per month. That's it. That's all. All right. So, moving on. That's it for our regularly scheduled show. I'm going to quickly move into Center Stage, which is all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you leave us now, we will see you in 2 weeks, which will be our or that's short for usual, this summer. We really hope that you guys will stick with us every 2 weeks and enjoy the quality over quantity. So let's move into Center Stage. I do want to talk to you about our Newbie Vest Knit Along. Again, that's the Newbie Vest by Stephanie Lotman, who is Telly Bean Knits on Ravelry. She has a lot of wonderful designs on Ravelry, and she is kind of hosting this knit along through the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. So the knit along goes from June 5th, which has already started, and it goes until July 10th. And there's several different sizes in the pattern. Let me show you the pattern. I forgot to show it to you in rehearsal. So here is the Glamour Shop back page of all the adorable cuteness of the baby vests. And it comes in 3 sizes. 4 sizes. Newborn, 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, and 18 months. All the way from a 14-inch chest circumference to a 21-inch chest circumference. You can get any size out of one skein of our callback base. And so the knit along again goes from June 5th to July 10th. We are doing a promotion in the Leading Men Fiber Arts store as well. You can get any of our callback base for 20% off, as many skeins as you would like. Use the coupon code NEWBIE, NEWBIE, all caps, to get 20% off of all of our callback in the shop. And that is good until July 10th. So we have a chatter thread and an FO thread up on our Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. Come join over there. Again, you must use our callback base in order to be qualified for prizes. The first prize is going to be a $20 gift certificate to Leading Men Fiber Arts. If we do get 50 vests or more, we'll add more prizes. So we hope that you'll join us in our second knit along with Leading Men Fiber Arts, which is the Newbie Vest. So enjoying that. All right. Other than that, I showed you our ZK colorway, which will be in the shop as we get time to update it to the shop, which is Yarnakuken. We will have a July colorway of the month. I'll show you that on our next podcast. We don't know what that is yet. We haven't made it, but I will have it ready to go by the time we record in 2 weeks. So I'm going to roll all my projects up to the side while we shift just a little bit. There goes my cart of goodness.
I would just like to say how slimming I look in this sideways view.
And let's move this tub of goodness that I've updated over the past 2 weeks. So we got a little bit of everything here as I move stuff around. So let's start with project bags. So again, these are Silvershine USA, which we carry in Lady Man Fiber Arts shop. First one we called Spectacles, and we have 2 medium and 1 extra large. The inside, I don't know what type of fabric you call this. It reminds me of PJs.
It reminds me of wainscoting,
I
like
can see that.
on the wall.
Do I have any more project bags?
You had some sitting out over here. Do you want me to grab
Yeah,
them?
no, those haven't been updated yet.
Okay.
Let's show you some mini skeins. We got some mini skeined packs in the shop. This one is on our Show Stealer base. You get 86 yards per 20 gram mini skein for a total of 430 yards. Colorways in this one. Let me see if I can catch the lighting to where you can see them. We have Pipeline, Glacial. This is a director's interpretation, which means it's a one-of-a-kind. Seaweed and Tequila Sunrise. So, sorry if you can hear the dogs out in the backyard. When we let them out, they go at it with the neighbor's dogs through the fence. So, anyway, next up we have a Showstopper mini skein pack. This one, these are 92 yards per 20 gram mini skein for a total of 460 yards. You have Alien Attack, Jazzercise Leggings, another director's interpretation, Apocalypse, and Gatsby. So definitely check out the shop for that.
I'm so partial to Jazzercise leggings. So partial.
We have a gradient set. We got some more London Fog up in the shop because it just goes. So if you've been wanting to nab a gray gradient London Fog, we've got a couple up in the shop right now. Rolags. I updated some new Rolags. This one we're calling Retro Dog. I just kind of put words together for the Rolags. Not going to lie, but I thought it was fun. This fiber is Superwash BFL in Corriedale, 2.1 ounces, so check that out. And then we got another Rolag set called this one Murica. And this is Superwash BFL and Mixed BFL, 1.9 ounces. Murica. And some fiber. We got some Merino Bamboo in the Ain't My First Rodeo colorway, which came out really subtle. It's kind of it looks silverish gray, but it's got some browns and blue undertones to it. Again, check out the shop for better pictures. And then we got a sock blank down at the bottom.
You know this is going to be gone. You better be fast.
I was going to say one sold out immediately, but this one's been up there. This one's called Out on a Limb. Again, I use idioms to name all these. They're one of a kind, single knit sock blanks, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and 463 yards. Out on a limb. All right, some yarn. On Box Office, our worsted weight, we got some Pipeline. On Soliloquy, which is 657 yards of 100% superwash BFL, fingering weight, we've got some Glacial. Also on Soliloquy, I updated this morning. This is a director's interp, which means a one-of-a-kind. I had an oops, so I made it into a major oops and did some fun stuff with it.
What was it originally supposed to be?
Part of a gradient.
Oh.
But we had a dye explosion in the
yes.
in the studio, aka my kitchen, and dye went everywhere. And I thought it was safe what I had in the pot, so it got some speckling, extra speckling, and I made it into a director's intern. Anyway, on Show Stealer, our MCN fingering weight, we've got Poison Ivy.
Also a partial favorite.
Because she created the color. Playbill, which is our single-ply DK, 240 yards of 100% superwash merino. We've got Breaking Ground, which is a warm brown colorway. Playbill as well, we have Anne with an E. Again, I showed this using this, and you can see some lighter and darker spots in there, which is going to give some depth of color. But I'm using this colorway on sport weight for my new Vivas. Do you like my bald head? It's glamorous, isn't it? On box office worsted weight, we have Black Walnut. I don't know if I've shown this before. This is a newer brown. It's been very popular at shows. A lot of sweaters, guy sweaters. On Showcase, which is 100% superwash merino, 490 yards of a fingering delight fingering weight, we have Eternal Kiss. And last but not least, on Show Stealer, we have some NB. So that's what's been updated this past 2 weeks. If you want to stay updated with what we're adding to the shop, which I've been adding a few items every day, the best and quickest way to find out and make sure that you know what you're following is to follow us on Instagram, which is Leading Men Fiber Arts. You can also follow us on Facebook, but you know Facebook has their what do you call them? Algorithms as to what you see. So. But you can always turn on the notifications on Facebook if you want to make sure that you stay up to track there. And also you can join our Ravelry group, which is Leading Men Fiber Arts. We'd love if you join our Ravelry group for the Dramatic Knits video podcast group. And as I said at the beginning of the show, you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and our website, which is dramaticknits.com. So until we see you in 2 weeks,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.